Okay, the first one was done by Alicia. So what she did is she actually foiled the x plus 2, and you don't have to do that, but she did that. And she found her critical numbers, which were -7 and 3. She set up the number line, and then you want it to be less than 0, so you want the negative spots. So she picked the two places where it's negative, which is between the -7 and the +3. If you would have taken the square root of both sides, you would have had 5 and -5. But those, so you'd have x plus 2 is equal to 5, x plus 2 is equal to -5. You're still going to have to do this table thing or something, or do a graph something, so you know which area this shape. Everyone go with the first one? Yes, ma'am? Okay, so for the second one, you have to find a common denominator, so you multiply by x plus 2, x minus 6, and when you do all that, you get the numerator to be 2x plus 28, the denominator is x minus 6, x plus 2. We drop the inequality sign. That should be greater than 0, right? And then your critical numbers, you're going to have 3 critical numbers. You're going to have one when the numerator is equal to 0, so that's going to be x is equal to -14. Then when your denominator is equal to 0, that's going to be x is equal to 6, x is equal to -2. So you have 3 critical numbers, yes? So when I go to do this, I'm going to do a number line. I'm going to put them in chronological order. And then I'm going to put my factors. So I'm going to put my numerator first. Do I need this too when I'm determining whether it's positive or negative? No, I don't, because it's positive, so it's not going to change anything. So I'm going to write x plus 14. If it bothers you, you can throw the 2 there, but you don't need it. X minus 6, x plus 2, and then my answer. What kind of circles will I have? They're all open. Now, I'll go through that in a second. So now let's pick different numbers. Let's say pick -15. Let's say pick -3, 0, and 7. Does that work? So when I do -15, this will be negative, negative, negative. My answer is negative. Whoa, I put this in the wrong spot. Never happened. Then I'm going to do -3, so this will be positive, negative, negative. My answer is going to be positive. 0 will be positive, negative, positive. My answer is negative. And then 7, all of them will be positive. My answer is positive. I want this rational expression to be greater than 0, so I want the positive places. So the places where it's positive are here and here. So interval notation will make that look like -14 to -2. Union 6 to positive infinity. The only thing I caution you on is something like this. If I have this rational expression, if I were to change this and make this equal to, if it were equal to, what would happen is this 14 would be a solid. The other 2 would still stay open because that's where they're discontinuous and the x could not equal those numbers. So then this would change to a bracket here. So be careful when you do the rational expressions that you may not have the same parentheses or brackets for all of them. Everyone good? Okay.
12.
Yeah, 12. Okay, so let's do. So number 12. This one says find the key numbers or critical numbers. Same thing, right? So for number 12, I'm going to find the, so I'm basically finding the zeros and the undefined spots. Does that make sense? So in order to do this, I have to have a common denominator. So to find the common denominator, I'm going to multiply the first one by x minus 1. I'm going to multiply the other one by x plus 2. Everyone good? When I do that, I'm going to have x squared minus x, distributing that negative sign, minus 2x minus 4, all over x minus 1, x plus 2. I'm not going to bother foiling the denominator because all I'm going to have to do is refactor, so why bother it? When I combine my like terms in the numerator, I get x squared minus 3x minus 4 all over x minus 1, x plus 2. So this factors is x minus 4, x plus 1, I believe. And then this is x minus 1, x plus 2. So my critical numbers are my zeros, and my zeros are going to be 4 and -1. Everyone good with that? And my critical numbers are also the places where it's undefined, which is going to be positive 1 and negative 2. Good? Okay, any other ones? 15. So 15, so if I take the square root, I'm going to get x is equal to plus or minus 3, right? So then I want to solve this. So if I were to graph this, I would have x squared. I'm going to have negative 3 and positive 3. And my answer, I don't think it's ever going to be, So let's say I put negative 4, 0, and 4. So if it's less than, so open circles. So this is going to be, because this is a square, this is always going to be positive, right? So my answer is always going to be positive, right? So it's asking me, when is x squared less than 9? And what are you going to tell me? That doesn't make sense. Does that make sense? Like, I want to graph it instead of doing my little chart thing now. Why is this not working? Oh, huh? It should be between, like, negative 3 and 3. It should go like this, yes? So this should be negative here. Oh, I don't know how. I'm going to think about that for a while. Like, my little table scared me. What?
Wouldn't you want to make it 0 on the right side? So you add and subtract 3 in your table. It wouldn't be just x squared. It would be x minus 3x plus 3.
I like that.
Very good.
You know why? I just remembered, because you know what? Since I did not put this with 0, I'm not doing positive and negative. I'd have to compare it to 9, so I like your way better. So we're going to erase all this. Oh, let's just erase the whole thing. All gone. Never happened. Okay, is that good? Do I have to do the whole thing now? No. I should have rewritten this as x squared minus 9. Maybe we'll just do that and I'll take the square root. Okay. Now, you know which one I want to do, right? This one? So this one, when you do number 69, it's talking about profit. So somebody has to tell me what profit is. If I'm a business person, what is profit? Bella? So it's the money you make after what? Yeah, the money after the cost. So if I'm like making lemonade for my lemonade stand, I would take the money that I made, like selling the lemonade, and subtract how much it cost me for the cups, the lemons, the water, the sugar, the ice, the straws. So in terms of the letters here, how am I going to find profit? Bailey? Yeah, so my profit is going to equal R minus C. Everyone's good with that? And then what you should have done is said profit is equal to that X times 75 minus my cost, which is 30X plus 250,000. Yes? So when you simplify that, what did you get? You simplify that, Joey?
So 75x to 0 squared minus 30x minus 25.
So that's your profit, and you want your profit to be at least $750,000. So what are you going to do with that?
So then once we said so it would be is greater than
750,000? Yeah. So I'm going to set up like this, so now I don't really need that P anymore. Done. Okay. Xavier, did you simplify that? Can I tell you a story? I'm going to tell you a story. I hate my lead coefficient being negative. How do you feel about that? Huh? Like, I just can't deal with it. Can you deal with it?
You really end up dividing out negative.
Oh, okay. I never thought of that. I would have probably simplified as I was going, but I didn't. That's funny. That's all me. Now what?
Oh yeah, shift that.
So, and then I'm going to combine my like terms. So I have negative 75x to 30x. So that's going to be what?
Negative 45.
And then I'm going to bring the 750,000 to this side. So the whole thing's going to be. It'd be positive 1 million. And so this is greater than or equal to, it could be equal to 750,000, right? Because they said at least, so I guess I could do equal to. Then, are we, okay, here's my question. Brent, yeah, why do I always, my question to you, Brent, is how did you solve that? I need to find my critical numbers, which means I need to find my
Morning, at this time, any senior who has not had their picture taken, please go to the Baker Gym now. Again, who has not had their picture taken, or freshman, sophomore, junior, please go to the Baker Gym now. If you're a staff member who needs to have your picture taken, and are in the classroom right now, just call extension 1100.
Hey, Brent, so sorry.
So,
Really?
wow.
Oh, my. Can we use technology as our friend?
Yeah.
We could. So do you have some technology that you should have carried with you into this class that might help you? So are you a visual learner or are you a like plug and chug type number guy? So you know the tools that you can use on your calculator to do this? What are you using? You just said you were a plug and chug guy, but we can do graphing. Let's do graphing. Let's do graphing. What two? What was the other one? But I have a question. If you were going to hand do this and hand do product sum, which I think is crazy, but okay. If you were going to do that, would you divide by this 0.0005 to make the lead coefficient 1? You ever even thought of doing that? Okay, so done through that. So now you're graphing, and when you graph, you probably don't see much, right? So we probably don't see anything, or if you do see something, let me know.
Yes,
Nothing. So my question to you now is, what do I have to do since I don't see anything? Change your window. So Mrs. Pesic is not in the room, and I will deny that I ever said this. Of course, it's being recorded. I would start with Zoom Fit. I would definitely start with Zoom Fit. But then you can think a little bit about this. Which quadrant should I be focused on since this is a word problem? Oh, John. 1. And I said that based on the fact that I made my lead coefficient positive. If I had made my lead coefficient negative, yeah, I'm still going to focus on the first quadrant. Yeah, who am I kidding? I still would. All right. So the way this is drawn, it should be a parabola that opens up. Yes?
No. Mine's a line.
Yes? Parabola opens up? Okay. Forget the calculator for a second.
Yeah.
Based on it being quadratic and the lead coefficient being positive, it should be a parabola that opens up.
Yeah.
The problem is the parabola opens up like really like kind of flat. So you did Zoom Fit, you got a line, so that's not helpful. So I'm going to go to my Windows settings. You have to go to your Windows settings. When it asks for my X minimum, what should I probably use for my X minimum? Probably not. If I'm focused on the first quadrant. Oh. Let's have a little chit chat for a second. I'm graphing this. It's going something like this. I've already done this a couple times. The X's are what? What's the? Okay, they're positive. What do the X's represent?
0.
They represent the units that are being sold. Does that make sense? The number of items that I'm sold. What does the Y-axis represent? It represents money, right? It's nice to have a good idea of what you're doing. So, I know I can see a Y with no problem, right? What Y do I know has to be on that graph? Because it's there. It's actually my Y-intercept. What is my Y-intercept? It's 1 million. So I could set my Y from 0 to 1 million. I could do that. Why not? Did you do that? And then for my X split, I'm going to start with 0 and pick a number. If you're selling something and you're going to make $1 million-ish, ballpark how many units you think you might have to sell. Now I know it all depends on price and blah, 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 but just ballpark for me, Alicia.
500,000.
She ballparks 500,000, so you're going to go up to 500,000. You should see something if you do 500,000. Do you not? You see something? No?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you do 500,000, then you see this, yes?
Yes.
Now, it doesn't matter that it's not a pretty picture, but I know that it crosses twice here. Does that make sense? So how do I find my zeros? What do I have to do to find my zeros? Analyze graph. So I'm analyzing my graph, so I'm hitting that menu, analyze graph, and the first choice should be a 0, right? And then I'll say left bound, right bound. Let's suppose that this bothers me, that my parabola is so smushed. It's smushed. I don't like it smushed. What could I have done to change that so it's not so smushed? Huh? You can make the X maximum smaller, because right now this X maximum is 500,000. If you make it smaller, you're going to have more of a parabola like this. Does that make sense? I mean, it's your calculator. Play with it. It's a fun thing to play with. All right, Maddie, did you find a 0? Which 0 did you get? Say that. Okay, so you got 5E4, and then it probably says 0, right? What does 5E4 mean?
It's scientific notation.
It's scientific notation. Remember, there's
5 times 10 to the 4th.
E means 10 to the 4th power. Does that make sense?
It's scoring.
So this is going to be 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 50,000 units, yes? Find the other 0 for me. There's 2 zeros. Done? 40,000. So in inequality, how many units must I sell to make at least $750,000? Alex.
Between 40,000 and 50,000, include both those numbers.
Okay, so mathematically, how do I write that?
Bracket 40,000, how about 50,000 bracket?
That interval notation, I believe if you're one person who goes to the back of the book, you're going to see this same thing. Either one is acceptable. So that's the first part. This is how many units I must sell. The second part of the question asks, how much should I price those units so I know that I'm going to sell between 40,000 and 50,000 units? Owen? How do I figure out the price that I must sell per unit? I'm just wander up here for a while, see if you see anything that catches your attention.
Solve for X for 10.
Okay, so I just found X, right?
Or not. Like, plug it.
Good morning.
I'm going to plug it
At
in.
this time, this is the last call for any student and or staff member who need to have their picture taken. At this time, we ask that you please go to the Baker chair.
So which one did you use? Did you use the revenue or the cost? You know what, it's a trick question, it doesn't matter which one you use. Yeah, so we use the revenue, all the other costs, so I'm gonna stick with using the revenue. So I'm gonna have to do this twice. I'm gonna put 40,000 in, I'm gonna put 50,000 in. But when I put 40,000 in for this X, it's gonna tell me the entire money that I collect. Does that make sense? So how do I find the price per 1 unit? Once I plug in, I solve, and then what am I gonna do? See?
Wouldn't you divide it by how many?
You would divide it by the number that you use for X to divide by the unit. So when you plug in 40, what did you get? Did anyone do it?
Like 40,000 or just 40?
40,000, I'm sorry. Someone said, so if I do revenue, that was 40,000. I forget now. No, that's not what I meant. It's 75. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna divide, that's gonna be my revenue, and I'm gonna divide it by the 40,000. That's a 4, and I believe I get 55. And then when I put in 50,000, I'm gonna get $50. So I'm gonna have, so the answer to the question is I have to sell between 40,000 and 50,000 units, and I will do that by pricing it between $50 and $55. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good? Any other questions on the homework? Okay, you guys know that you have a test, or I'm gonna call it a test, it's 40 points. You're gonna have a class test, quiz, whatever makes you happy to call it, that's what you're doing next class. It is gonna cover A6, which was on the blended learning, summer learning, and we went over A7, which is the simplifying, and then this section on the equalities. Anyone have any questions? Yes, sir.
Is the problem like 69 going to be on the steps?
I don't know. I don't answer those questions. That makes me want to go back and rewrite the test and put it on. It's fair game. Word problems are fair game. Okay? And you guys are block 2, and I really hated it. I'm going to see how it goes this year, but I hate it when block 1 tells you everything that's on it. Do not talk to anyone for block 1. Ignore them in the hallway. So I want to go over a couple more of these. So these are 2 problems from 2-7 that I want to review. So we're going to do 64 and 6. This one, I don't have a number for it. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple minutes. And then remind me to tell you about Khan Academy. Do not let me forget about Khan Academy. Okay, on this one, your final answer should have been negative 4x plus 1 over x plus 1 squared, and then the cosine is 2x minus 3x squared to the 1/2. That's an out of order. Are we good?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Are you good?
Sure. Thank you.
That's are you good?
Try to help me. Try to help, please. I somehow got an equal.
Okay, ready? And then equality. All right, ready, John? Here we go.
This is why I don't do problems.
I'll start from the beginning. You ready? If I have this 1/2, I need to get rid of the 1/2. I'm lucky in this case because this, I can multiply this 1/2 times this 2 minus 6x, and then the 1/2 will go away. So that's what I'm going to choose to do. Okay? If it did not go away, if I could not simplify it that way, I would multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2, and that would take care of this 1/2, and I would have a 2 out in front here. If it did not simplify, but it simplified, so I'm okay. So now I'm left with x plus 1, then 2x minus 3x squared to the negative 1/2. And then when I multiply by that 1/2, I had 1 minus 3x minus 2x minus 3x squared to to the positive 1/2, and this is all over x plus 1 squared. I am going to choose to factor out that 2x minus 3x squared to the negative 1/2 because that's the lowest power. And when I do that, get this out of my way, I'm going to have 2x minus 3x squared to the negative 1/2. Now we have x plus 1 times 1 minus 3x minus, and then simplifying, this will be 2x minus 3x squared. Oh, this is the first. John, did you find your mistake yet? John, we're doing this for you.
Oh. Yeah, because you somehow got the wrong
Yeah,
answer.
I got it.
Equality.
Well, you must have put the inequality in.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this down line at it. Are you good with that? Here, when I FOIL these two, I get negative 3x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 2x plus 3x squared. Good?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to have negative 4x plus 1 over 2x minus 3x squared to 1/2 x plus 1 squared. Good? Okay, when I go to do this one. Yes, ma'am? Because it's a good question, because right now it's here, and you have two terms. You have this first term and you have the second term, so you can't factor out for this term. You're welcome. All right, the next one. So when I go to do the next one, okay, this one, when I go to look at one like this, where I know that I'm going to take whatever this is, I'm going to call it A because I can't call it that. And I know that I'm going to distribute it, and when I distribute it, I'm going to get this. Does that make sense? So if I go term by term and I say 3 over x is equal to 6xa, and then I could do 5 over 2x squared is equal to 5a, and then I could do 3 over 2x is equal to negative 3x cubed a. And if I solve each one of those for a, I only have to solve one because they should be the same. But here I would divide both sides by 6x or multiply by 1 over 6x. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And if I do that, I end up with 1 over 2x squared is equal to a. Here I'd multiply both sides by 1/5. And I'm going to again end up with 1 over 2x squared. So this answer is just going to be 1 over 2x squared. It's really that simple. Yes?
Yes. Like a cat.
Let's talk about Khan Academy. So your homework tonight is to finish that review worksheet that I gave you last class. If you didn't pick it up, I still have some extra copies. That is your homework that's due next class. You're taking the test next class. I put out on Khan Academy, which you guys all nicely told me that you got an email. There are 18 assignments. The assignments tell me that they're only 1 to 3 minutes long. Okay? That's what they tell me. So you're going to tell me if that's wrong. That is due Friday, September 3rd.
Oh,
I'll write that down.
understandable.
Khan Academy. Due one assignment Friday, September 3rd.
Wait, all of them are due that day?
All 18 are due that day. I mean, I am giving you 2 weeks to do it, am I not? Okay, a little shy of 2 weeks.
A little shy. Do you have a normal, like, schedule tomorrow, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah, so would you be here in here during lunch, kind of be like,